Okay, so Canberra, I think for a lot of people, when they hear that word, they immediately think of like Parliament House politicians, that whole scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's sort of like the dominant image that comes to mind, right?
But it's interesting because when you sort of dig a little bit deeper, there's this whole other side to Canberra that kind of gets overshadowed.
Yeah, it really does. And I think for someone like you, always looking for, like that sort of comprehensive knowledge quickly, I think this deep dive into some of Canberra's hidden sides is going to be pretty illuminating.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we are going to try to do today, right? Like we've got some really cool information that paints a totally different picture of the city. And it really does go beyond just politics and government, you know.
Yeah.
We're talking fan, we're talking nature history arts, even a bit of adventure.
Yeah.
So to really get started, like where do you think is a good place to kind of shift our perspective of Canberra?
I think if you want to get that immediate kind of visual shift, you really have to start at Mount Ainslie Lookout. It's that classic 360-degree panorama, and you can see so much from there. I mean, you get that sweep of Lake Burley Griffin, you see Parliament House sort of nestled within the landscape, and you can really start to understand how the city was designed, you know?
Oh, wow.
And everything we've looked at really points to this as a must visit,
Yeah.
especially if you can get there like for sunrise or sunset.
Sunrise or sunset, yeah.
Yeah, that golden light just kind of makes the whole experience.
I bet. So it's not just about the view itself, it's about the timing too.
Exactly.
Okay, so, we've got this amazing view. We've kind of set the scene.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something a little more maybe down to earth, shall we say, delicious Canberra's food scene.
Right.
From what we've found, it's incredibly diverse and really focused on local sustainable ingredients.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that it's not just like a trendy thing. It's
Yeah.
really embedded in the culture there. You see it everywhere, from cafes to restaurants to the local markets.
And speaking of unique food experiences, did you come across anything in the research that really stood out to you?
Oh, absolutely.
The truffle farm.
The Truffle Farm.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more about this.
So Canberra, because of its cooler climate, it's actually perfect for growing certain types of truffles.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got this whole farm dedicated to it. And they do truffle hunting tours with trained dogs.
Wow, wait, hold on. Truffle hunting with dogs.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That sounds like something out of like a documentary or something.
It's incredible. And then
Huh.
you get to enjoy like this amazing gourmet meal featuring those freshly foraged truffles.
Oh my goodness. That is next level.
It really is. And that's what makes it so special.
Mm.
It's not just like you go to a farm, you pick some fruit.
Mm.
It's this whole experience that combines, the activity with this incredible culinary reward.
It's like a foodie's hidden gem.
Exactly. And what we found suggests that it's really unique in that sense,
Right.
compared to other kind of like agritourism experiences in the region. Yeah. Okay, so we've had the breathtaking panorama. We've had a taste of luxury with the truffles. Now let's maybe cleanse the palate a little bit with some nature. And this is what surprised me. Canberra has some pretty incredible nature escapes right on its doorstep.
Yeah, it does. And you don't have to go far to find them.
Yeah.
The Jerrabomberra wetlands, for example, it's just a short hop from the city center. And it's this amazing contrast. You're so close to all the hustle and bustle, but then you're in this peaceful sanctuary just teeming with bird life.
Wow, so peaceful, teeming with birds.
Yeah.
And are there like walking trails and things like that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They've got all sorts of trails that wind through the wetlands, so you can really get different perspectives on this really diverse ecosystem.
Okay, so you got the wetlands, which sound incredible. And then there's the National Arboretum, which is just on a whole other scale. I mean, over 44,000 trees spread across 250 hectares. It's like a living tree museum.
It really is. And that's a perfect description because it's not just a random collection of trees. It's this huge conservation effort.
Hmm.
It's a place for research, studying different tree species, their adaptability. And it's also just a stunning public space. They have hiking trails, picnic spots. It's like nature, but on this grand, almost architectural scale.
I love that nature on an architectural scale.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone from grand nature to something a little more, well, mysterious. Our research turned up this mention of an abandoned World War II communication bunker
Oh, yeah.
hidden beneath Mount Stromlo Observatory.
That's a fascinating little piece of history.
So it's not open to the public.
No, unfortunately not. But the fact that it's there, this tangible link to the past hidden underground, I think it just adds this whole other layer to Canberra's story.
It really does. Because we think of Canberra, we think of politics, but then you have this element of like wartime communications,
Yeah.
secret bunkers. Okay, let's shift gears again this time to the urban scene, Lonsdale Street in Braddon. It's described as the city's kind of hipster hub. What's the vibe there?
Well, if you're looking for that kind of like modern, energetic, urban feel, Lonsdale Street seems to be the place to be. Our information highlights all these trendy bars, independent cafes, unique boutiques. They've got a really thriving craft brewery scene there, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's all within walking distance, so it's got that real kind of like, walkable urban village vibe.
And I'm seeing all these pictures of Instagram-worthy murals.
Oh, yeah, the street art is a big part of it.
So it sounds like it's not just about the businesses and the food and drinks. It's also about the visual experience.
Exactly. It's like the street art is telling a story about the city.
Yeah, okay, let's go from the urban buzz to something a little more refined wine. The Canberra region is increasingly known for its cool climate wines.
Mm.
But there's this one place that our sources really highlighted, the Lost Vintage Cellars in nearby Murrumbateman.
Oh, yes, Canberra's secret wine vaults.
It sounds very exclusive.
It does, right? And while the Canberra wine region in general is becoming quite well known, these hidden underground cellars offer something a bit different, It's like you're venturing off the beaten path.
It's that sense of discovery that people are really looking for.
Exactly. And it feels more intimate, Like you're getting this personal connection with the winemakers and their craft.
Yeah. Okay, so we've been underground now. Let's go up literally to the skies.
Yeah.
Hot air, ballooning over Canberra at sunrise.
I mean, come on, how amazing does it sound?
That sounds unbelievable.
Mm.
And I can just imagine the view, drifting over Lake Burley Griffin as the sun comes up, seeing Parliament House from above.
It's a completely different perspective, right? You're not just seeing these landmarks, you're seeing how they fit into the landscape.
Yeah, and it's that sunrise light, that golden hour that just makes everything so magical.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's those moments of wonder that you remember.
Okay, now for those who prefer their wildlife a little more wild, our sources point to Tidbinbilla Nature Reserve, just a short drive from the city.
Yeah.
And you can see kangaroos, koalas, even platypuses in their natural habitat.
Yeah, it's incredible. Tidbinbilla offers that chance for a real wildlife encounter, you
Right.
know? Not like in a zoo where they're in enclosures. You're in their territory watching them behave naturally.
That's awesome. It's a totally different experience, isn't it?
It is.
And finally, to wrap up our exploration of Canberra's hidden gems, we have Canberra Glassworks in Kingston, Australia's only dedicated glass art studio.
Oh, that's a cool one.
It is. It's not just a gallery. You can
Yeah.
actually watch the artists at work.
Yeah, you can see them creating these intricate glass pieces. And they even have workshops where you can try it yourself.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Imagine making your own glass art.
Right. It's like the ultimate souvenir.
It really is. So there you have it, our deep dive into Canberra's best-kept secrets.
Yeah.
We've gone from panoramic views to truffle hunts, to wetlands, to secret bunkers, to a thriving urban scene, to hidden wine cellars, to hot air ballooning, to wildlife encounters, and even glass blowing.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
It really does make you realize that there's so much more to Canberra than meets the eye.
Absolutely. It's not just about politics and government. There's this whole other side, this vibrant cultural scene, this incredible natural beauty, these fascinating historical secrets.
So for everyone listening out there, I'm curious, what stood out to you the most? What sparked your interest? What makes you want to go and explore Canberra for yourself?
Yeah, what hidden gem caught your attention?
Is it the mystery of that underground bunker? The gourmet adventure of the Truffle Farm? The artistic energy of the Glassworks?
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder what other hidden treasures are out there just waiting to be discovered.
In places we think we know.
Exactly. Even in a place like Canberra,
Yeah.
which most people think that they have figured out.
Mhm.
There's always more to discover. So keep exploring, keep digging, keep an
Yeah.
open mind, and you never know what you might find.